Every time I get around my extended family, I become stressed out and depressed. Why is that? And how do I begin to enjoy Thanksgiving amidst such discord? As an especially sensitive person, how can I absorb less of other people's stress? So without further delay, thank you, Jeff.
Do you really think and believe that millions of evolved souls would say yes to come to Earth just to die in a totalitarian new world order? Absolutely not. We came here to flip this world upside down, back to its original state and more. We came here for the new Earth, for world peace, for the immortal golden age, for a new Eden. We came here for nothing less than to send a wave of light and love across the universe, signaling the birth of a new order of divine justice, peace, compassion, and love. And if you're on this call, you are in that category. All right. So I'm going to set an intention for tonight. And my intention is we are all here for a reason. Stop being a prisoner of your past and become the architect of your future. We are all here for a reason. Stop being the prisoner of your past and become the architect of your future. And hopefully by the end of tonight, you will have more than enough capacity and ability and a restoration of access to those things that you need in order to do just that, be the architect of your future. We've talked about empaths before, and being an empath in this world, in this matrix, is tough. It's very tough. If you're not connected to the creator, if you don't have that central channel intact, and you don't have your ability to manage being an empath. Being an empath is a massive skill. I use it every day with clients, but I turn it on and off. I know how to turn it on and off. I have all the components that I need to activate it and use it for the skill that it is. But if you don't have those components, just being alive on this earth at this time and being an empath is a nightmare, because you're feeling everything around you. You're feeling all the craziness. You're feeling all the BS. You're feeling all the stress, the overwhelm, everything that comes with being an empath, especially if you don't know you're an empath. There are a lot of people walking this earth that have no idea what an empath is and have no idea that they are an empath. A lot of the modern terminology for this is a sensitive. People who are sensitive. Who are just pick up the feelings of everybody around them. Okay, so that makes for a tough life for anybody being an empath in a overstimulating world, and then you pile on top of that the universal surrogate. This creates a living hell for most people, where they can't get traction in their life. No matter what they do, they can't move forward. They can't progress. They're impacted physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And they can't seem to get traction and be who they came here to be and do what they came here to do. So that's why this universal surrogate is so important to get at and get it cleared from a body, mind, feel complex. And then you still have empath issues underneath it, and we'll get to some of those someday. And I'll teach you how to use it or turn it on as a skill rather than just as out there wide open. But it's super important to get rid of this. This is done. This is done. You were fooled. You were fooled. I was fooled. All of us were fooled in that lifetime that we all were here together. And we stood up and agreed to this. So we're going to let this go once and for all. should not have been, it didn't work, it's not going to continue to work, and it needs to be eradicated and shut down, so that you can have access to that energy, because you have to deal with all this energy every day of your life. And then you pile that on being an empath, that makes for a really tough existence. Okay. On your timeline, as you progress down your timeline of being human, you do things. And one of these may be, well, the best example, everybody knows this example. You got some dude who scored the winning touchdown in the high school championship when he was in high school. That's a connection point. And now he's out here in the future, he's out here in the now. And every picnic you go to on the 4th of July, or every birthday party, you hear this guy reciting the story about how he caught the winning touchdown. That's a connection point that he has based his life on. It creates his existence. It creates his identification of who he is. And any number of things can be. I became a parent, I got married, I got promoted, what have you. And those can all be different connection points that you connect to. So, but the problem is that they become anchors eventually. It stops you from moving very far down this timeline because you're still tied back in this time period. And a distractor implant is something that takes you away from what you should be focusing on, what's real, and it's fake, phony, and false, and it gets you to focus on that instead of paying attention to what you're supposed to, which is doing what you came here to do and being what you came here to be. If you're sitting there giving away yourself, you're giving away others the benefit of all the work you do, all the clearings that you get of everything you go through, you're giving that away to others, in addition to taking on their pathways, pains, and realities. You get very fragmented. This field becomes very fragmented, and there's lots of gaps and holes in here that hide really nasty stuff. So we're going to defrag all that. Okay. Now the goal of this is to get us so clean and clear, this universal surrogate is gone, that you actually get to your cause, your purpose, and your identity. Now up here, you may have some idea of what this is, but again, that's another area where you can't get traction. You have a difficulty identifying what the cause of your life is. Why am I here? What the purpose of your life is. What am I going to create? What am I going to leave behind? How am I going to improve this world? And especially your identity, you being a spiritual being, having a human experience. So the objective is always to get you as clean and clear as possible on your cause, your purpose, and your identity. And then once that is all in place, you'll be amazed at the courage that you have to move forward. It will happen quite naturally because you're highly conscious beings, or again, you wouldn't be in these calls. You've got, for you to move forward as a highly conscious being in this world, you've got to be able to identify why you're here, what you're doing here, and who you are, and know it in your bones. I know that a lot of you feel like you're like paddling, you're just dog paddling, just keeping your head above water, and you're working as fast as you can and as hard as you can, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual, or all four, or some combination of. And that's life draining, that's energy draining. We should never be in a state or condition where we're just dog paddling to keep our head above water. We're not that kind of a being. We are a creator being. We are part of the creator of all that is. We are part of that from which we came. We were never meant to just dog paddle through this life. And this stuff right here, it's like a concrete block on your back while you're trying to swim through that pool. Okay, and now that's gone. So now we got to do some repair work, because you've had a life where you've been dog paddling. Now we got to get you to swim full out, like Olympic style swimming. So that's what this protocol is about. false narratives that are peddled to us, false realities that are peddled to us. And every time I turn on the television and I watch CNN or I watch Fox News or I watch some kind of corporate news channel, it makes me mad because I can see through the lies so fast, it's not even funny. But keep in mind, however old you are, let's say you're 40. I think we used that number last week. So you've spent 40 years on this planet, or 35 years, or whatever you've been on this planet. And you've been force-fed bullshit your whole life. And that's what I call a forced narrative, a fake narrative. And the intention has always been to shut you down as being the spiritual being that you came here to be. And the way you mess up somebody's mind is you give them false patterns of reality. You give them a false map of reality. And it's no different than if I dropped you in Chicago with a map of Manhattan and gave you 10 objectives, and you're using the map, the narrative, to do those 10 objectives for Manhattan, but you're in Chicago. You get the instant craziness that is, and the way it messes with the mind, and that'll stop any progress that you came here to make. It's pretty traumatic trying to work your way around a big city, not having the right map and thinking that you do. It's very traumatic. Every time you turn a corner, every time you attempt one of those things you need to accomplish and you fail, you feel less than, you feel broken, you feel like you're a failure, you feel like, yeah, who am I? I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that keeps this stuff in place: self-doubt, lack of self-acceptance, lack of self-love. This comes directly from using a map of Manhattan while you're in the city of Chicago. Trauma exists. That's part of the human condition. But false trauma is this stuff that we've been told and we bought into. And then we look at the world and we go, well, we've been told this, but my eyes see this. And we don't believe our own eyes because we're following our belief structure. Development cycles. We all move through development cycles. You're born. You're the first year of your life, you don't walk. Then you learn how to walk, or you crawl and then you walk. And then you get into kindergarten and you begin to learn things. There's a development cycle that we as a human go through as we move through our life. And those development cycles can get disrupted. And when they get disrupted, or we skip over a cycle or two, or skip development steps, that really messes with our being. If you don't have the spirit and the life force of progress and the archetype of progress, how are you going to grow? How are you going to move forward? How are you going to do what you came here to do? And how are you going to be what you came here to be? You can tell yourself all these things, and you have a dream in the back of your head, and you think you know, but you can't quite get to it. You can't quite make that move. That's because somewhere they've shut down or turned off the archetype of progress. So to wrap it up, struggle. We want to get rid of the struggle. We are eternal beings. Would our spiritual being really come here and struggle? No. Sometimes struggle's good. Sometimes we learn through struggle to a certain degree. You know, you go to the gym and you bench press and you put a bigger plate on, or you put more weight on, and then you struggle to get that up. And that makes the muscle grow and you become more fit because of that. That struggle's okay. You've had plenty of that. I'm talking about the struggle where you beat yourself up over and over and over and over and over again, and cause self-doubt, and cause lack of self-acceptance, and cause lack of self-love. You're done with that. Love you all. We will see you next time in the Soul Warrior Network. Thank you.